where we are talking to Rakesh being nifty at 60 on the eve of his birthday to assess the extraordinary turmoil and opportunity that the current market is offering. Rakesh, we talk about once in 100-year crashes, but they seem to be happening once every 10 years now. What is your assessment of the market?
Ramesh, we are essentially in what is a bull market. We started in 1981. We do have falls, but they don't last for long. I mean, we had one fall around 99, then 2008, and maybe 2020, but when the market seems to resume in extremely short period, and that bull run just continues. I mean, if I look at it from a very longer term picture, 99, 2008, and now 2020, the recoveries have been unbelievable and at unbelievable speed. So I think that long bull market, started in 81, is very much alive.
Really? So you don't think we're in a new bull market, you think we're in the old bull market?
Absolutely, Ramesh. I mean, you look at it from 81, what kind of corrections have we had and how long have they lasted? You know, in the correction of 1929, the Dow took 30 years or 28 years to achieve that 1929 high. That, my friend, was a bear market. We forget, here we are retesting highs in a year, 2 years, 3 years. Now we are reaching there and making new highs in 3, 4, 6 months. So essentially the long bull market is continuing.
Right, but Rakesh, in dollar terms, at least in the last 5 years, very little money has been made in India, right?
Yeah, you're talking about international markets. See, I think until 2014 to 2018, the Indian markets did fine. I think we really started what I would say the downfall or the bear market in India, at least in the mid caps and the small caps, in 2018 January. I think that is what bottomed out, according to me, in March 2020. And the last part of the market which was standing out, with the financials also joined in.
Right. Rakesh, you talked about India's path to liberalization, and you said yourself publicly in an interview that you were frustrated. What are the important changes that we need to do to reignite our growth at 6-7% at least?
See, first is I think 6-7% is too unambitious here. I think we should aim minimum for double digit. I think one we needed is agricultural reform. I don't know, they are not getting publicized, but there is an official press release from the Ministry of Power. If that kind of reform they are proposing, it comes through, I think that is very much needed. Then we needed reform in the mining sector, which has been done. I think we need reform in land and labor, which is primarily state topics and on which some progress is being made. Then, of course, the one very much important is the disinvestment of the public sector undertakings, which I think the government is going to attempt in a very, very serious manner. And most, we need an attitudinal change. India's twist with socialism, starting in 1950, I think has crossed this country, people do I don't know what. And then we have created such vested interests. And doing away with those vested interests can be done only with great political determination. And we have done it in the agriculture sector, we overruled the APMCs, we allowed free marketing. I, with no information, sense that we are going to see major reform now. And the one major reform is believe in India that we can do it. Don't compare ourselves with Singapore and Dubai, right? We are a different nation. Don't worry, America has 230 years of freedom. We have 70 years of freedom. I think the time will come when in the next 12 months, we will get the necessary reforms. I think that will set us off on a path to a really high rate of growth.
Rakesh, but would you say that in 90, the liberalization happened due to the Berlin Wall falling down? Do you believe that thanks to CV19, it has proposed a complete relook at economy? That is the catalyst causing us to relook?
I think whatever may be the reasons, may be the reason, as long as it happens, I am happy. Whether it happens because of COVID, or whether it happens because Modi ji decides it, right? That it should happen is more important. And I think it will happen. We have reduced the rate of tax. Nobody ever thought, I never thought 2 years ago that India will see 25% rate of corporate tax here. But it is a reality today. So I think the urgency to respect business, to create ease of doing business, is being recognized now as more urgent than ever. And necessary steps will be taken. And I think in a democracy it takes time. But I think the time has come now.
Rakesh, some rates have gone down, I agree with you, but some rates have gone up too. The rates on dividends have gone up, the rates of long-term capital gains have gone up, short-term capital gains have gone up. Is there something in our mindset of the way this country is that prevents us from becoming a modern economy? Is it because of regionalization? Is it because of belief in socialism? What is it that's preventing us from making these big bang changes?
It is our twist with socialism from the 1950s and the creation of the vested interest in that twist. I think that is what keeps us back. But now I think the powers to be realized that without undoing those vested.
Go ahead.
It is the fact the market everybody would have known. The question is to judge today whether it will change or not. My judgment is it will. I could be wrong.
And as you've often said, that is the change that the market respects, and that would explain to you the bullishness of the market at this time?
No, the bullishness in the market could be also, this could be one of the reasons, the reforms that could come. I think one very big factor is interest rates. Yesterday I got a call from a lady, her mother has got 1 crore rupees, the rates of fixed deposit have collapsed. Rakesh, let me buy some stocks, please tell me what to buy. So I think interest rates are going to play a very important role. Second, I think reform. See Ramesh, when a market does something and does it very decisively, I have learned in life that I always lose out just keeping my opinion in mind and not trying to understand what is the market trying to convey. So I think it could be reforms, it could be the effect. The effect of the COVID, I think, up till June, the recovery has been far better than what people had expected, right? So maybe the COVID is not going to be as severe as people think. Maybe there's going to be a lot of reform. The reduction in interest rates is a reality. Corporate India is getting extremely efficient, I think. We have a clean corporate India. If this efficient corporate India meets increased volumes, right, then earnings could go through the roof. And see, Ramesh, we cannot compare India to America. America percentage of profits to GDP is at the highest ever. Household wealth in equity is quite substantially high. In India, it is opposite. Percentage of profits to GDP is at the lowest. There is no substantial portion of equity in household wealth. So, America and India are diametrically opposite in terms of fundamentals. So maybe it could be a start of reversal in what was happening in India in the last 5-6 years.
Right. But Rakesh, a lot of people have said that this sharp rise in this market, almost V-shaped, is liquidity led. You've always scoffed at them. But there is a lot of money sloshing around from developed markets in India, isn't it?
The FIs have not been any substantial buyers this year also. They have been net sellers. And I don't see anybody, I don't get phone calls. At least the phone call I got yesterday to invest in equity must be after a long time. I think there is no belief of anybody in the equity. So where is the commitment? There is no commitment. In 2008, when we came into the bull market, the fall, was whole of India had invested in equity. And corporate India was at the extremist level of leverage. Today, I think we have deleveraged corporate India, and commitment to equity in terms of its potential is at minimal. And there is very little speculative interest in the market. And people come into excess when they make a lot of money. So maybe if the Nifty goes up in the next 2-3 years and people make a lot of money, then there will be blind belief. That is the time when you will have major falls in the market. So I don't think so. When there is no faith in the market, there is no commitment in the market. So I don't know how you can say it's liquidity driven.
Okay, so it's basically the lack of faith, the lack of commitment, and the promise of reforms that the smart money is seeing ahead of the market. The one thing that dragged the market down for the last 5 years was the NBFC sector, Rakesh. What is your assessment right now of that sector?
Well, I think the worst is already known. I don't see we're going to see any shocks from that sector. maybe the growth which they were showing will come down, it will become more selective, and the banks will play a bigger role. And of course, they had gone to valuation levels which are not sustainable. So they were set to correct.
Correct. Rakesh, I mean, let's just talk about geopolitics, because that does affect our market one way or the other. Post CV19, do you think we'll emerge in a bipolar world, one led by US interest, one led by China interest? And what are the investment implications for that?
No, I think, Ramesh, the depth and the need for globalization is far greater than what people realize. And the interaction advantage the world is drawing from it. Politicians can shout and say anything, but it cannot be easily given up. So globalization may slow a little, but it's not going to go off at the levels at which people are thinking of it. Because American companies also have interest in China. China also has an interest to selling to America. So, in the Cold War, there was no economic interest between America and Russia. So, therefore, for a Cold War to develop and, enhance with this kind of economic interaction, according to me, is not easy. So, there may be crowing, there may be shouting, but the actual action will not be much, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's no inherent security conflict between America and China, maybe on intellectual property, but no physical boundaries as we speak of. But given the fact that we're headed into a US election cycle, does that worry you that the saber rattling that's going on between China and India, China and America, China and Japan could lead to some unfortunate consequences?
I don't think so, Ramesh. In every US election, I've heard they're going to ban outsourcing to Indian companies. Nothing has happened in the last 15, 20 years. So I think, remember, in the Cold War, there was no economic interaction between Russia and America. Today, I think the economic interaction within the world is so great, right, that it will really take a lot for that interaction to be broken on a sustained basis. It could be lesser than what it is, but I don't think it's going to be majorly affected.
Rakesh, bull markets have, leadership. Where is the leadership in this bull market?
Well, it's a very small bull. It's a very, very initial bull market. Leadership will emerge over time. And leadership always emerges from the most beaten down stocks. It doesn't emerge from the favored ones.
Right. But what were the unfavored sectors? Would it be telecom and pharma, for example?
It could be telecom, pharma, it could be the public sector, provided the government changes its policies.
I mean, change the policy means they can only now actually do an honest privatization. Do you actually think the government is ready to bite the bullet and do that?
No, they can. In my judgment, they are ready to.
Really? So we will see BPCL and Container Corporation happen in the next 90 days or 6 months?
I would say it would take not 6, it would take 9. But once it starts, it will be a flood.
Okay. Rakesh, in 2004, when you saw this bull market and you made great, handsome gains through stocks like Titan, Lupin, CRISIL, 100x, 200x, do you see a similar set of opportunities in India today?
The opportunity is always there, Ramesh. Whether it was there or not, only posterity will tell us. The opportunities are always there, yeah. But nobody can really know.
They can't, but Rakesh, there's a sense among a lot of analysts that the market is out of reality with what's going on in corporate India. Would you subscribe to that view, or you think that market is looking through just one bad quarter of earnings?
Well, see, all I think is that market, tell me one thing, there's a company XYZ. I think it's going to do very well, I believe, rightly or wrongly in 21, 22. How well it fares in 2021, how important is it? Am I going to sell my investment or am I not going to invest because it's not going to fare well in 2021? If I'm confident of its performance in 21, 22.
So quarter one and quarter two is a look through, market has discounted that, and when bad numbers come out, in your estimation, the market would not react violently to that, correct?
No, it will not react violently only if it has still has confidence in the future performance. And Ramesh, after having started all that, having said all that, suppose Nifty goes at 10,500. If the Nifty has to make a range between say 9,500 and 10,500 for the next 6 months and not go up, what is wrong? That way in a bull market doesn't mean the stock market is never going to correct temporarily, is never going to go down, or is going to go on going up every day. Here the Nifty points falls 200 points, everybody is ready to write an obituary. What's wrong if the Nifty falls by 500 points and doesn't lose and stays between 1,000-point range for the next 6 months? To my mind, I think we would still be in the initial stage of a bull market here.
Right. As you said, Rakesh, that is the lack of commitment or belief that people have in the market, that they're ready to sell at the drop of a hat or panic at the first sign of a drop. I agree with you.
No, sir, at the slightest fall, everybody is ready to write an obituary. Everybody I believe, I meet says me, oh, your market's gone crazy. Why? I mean, I don't know here. Either there's some manipulation, and I don't see any very positive figures from the foreigners. So I don't, understand. So when I don't understand, why it is rising, I better try and understand why it is rising here. In all humility, let me respect what the market is doing.
Right. Final two questions, Rakesh. In your view, I understand nobody knows this. In your view, early 2021, will this CV19 crisis be behind us?
See, I think the CV19, I don't know whether CV19 will exist or not. I know one thing, it will be accepted like any other flu. Because it will be treated much better, it will far lesser cases will require hospitalization. And Ramesh, you fly in an aircraft here, the aircrafts crash. You travel by car, 220,000 Indians lose their lives every year in car accidents. So I think it will be within the grip of humanity. It's not going to, it may not vanish, but people will learn to live with it.
Learn to deal with it. Okay, Rakesh, final question to you. You've always left us, it's your birthday, you've come back on Wizards after 15 years. Where are opportunities? Where do you see opportunities in India today? Small cap, large cap, which sector? Give us some headway into your thinking.
I see the biggest opportunity in the most battered stocks and the most unfavored stocks.
Which would be B group, right?
No, even in the A group, even in the large caps. There are a lot of stocks which are written off for dead, the companies are dead, they'll never revive. I think there's a lot of opportunity in those companies. Because the risks, if you are right, are far greater than the losses you can have. Far, 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 far greater.
Right. Am I sensing you're bullish on public sector banks for some reason?
No, Ramesh. I don't look at public sector banks.
Fair enough. Rakesh, sum up your feelings about the market at this stage. Just give us an executive summary, if you will.
I would say technically we are in an absolute bull market. We are in what is in the start of a bull market. You have breadth, you have disbelief, you have nervousness, you have lack of commitment, and market refuses to go down. And every bull market starts with an event which shatters everybody so much that everybody keeps promising he'll never buy stocks again. And then the first rise never has faith. So I think technically we are surely in what is going to be a long bull market. And then sometimes markets can also mislead you, very rarely.
Rakesh, that is an excellent executive summary. It is well said. You made a career out of calling new bull markets. Maybe you've called it one more time. Happy birthday, and thank you again for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Ramesh.